Will you marry me has been an issue for many, many couples. It is at the crux of a huge issue when two people are dating. When do you get married? I think from a female perspective, marriage is a natural, normal, healthy thing. I think if you were to talk to most men, they might say the same thing in theory, but when it comes down to it, it seems like they have a lot more patience for waiting on marriage. Not only that, but if you're a Christian, there are certain things that you don't want to do unless you're married. So it can pose an issue. And most women want to be married when they fall in love with somebody. It is an issue. I think women can be more patient with that concept when they're in a relationship that is working, where they don't feel anxious. If they're fearful avoidant, that fearful avoidance has been quieted. But at the crux of fearful avoidant is you have the two dynamics going on at the same time. You have the anxious side and you have the avoidant side, and they're already pulling at each other. They're already doing this tug of war. It's like you can't be in both segments at the same time. Either you're freaking out because you're feeling anxious that this person isn't going to stay, or this person isn't connecting to you the way you want them to connect, or something they have said or done, or just your own personal fears and dynamics creates you wanting to get away from the person and take a break, or I can't handle this connection. And I think it's even worse, like if you're a man and you have fearful avoidant attachment style, you probably are going to lean more towards the avoidant side, and the woman is going to lean more towards the anxious side. I actually did a video on this, so check it out. I think I've released it already. So when it comes to will you marry me, or can we get married? Not that the woman is asking you for your hand in marriage. I think ultimately and romantically speaking, the guy proposes to the woman. But if you're already anxious avoidant, being in a relationship with somebody, especially if you're female, after a certain period of time and they haven't proposed to you, is going to create uncertainty and anxiety, and it's going to create a dynamic for which you are not necessarily being yourself anymore. You feel rejected. You feel like you can't just be comfortable being yourself. You feel freaked out. So when you are in love with a man and he asks you to marry him, that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate show of love. And for a fearful avoidant, if you're not being given that gift, that beautiful gift, after you have been in a relationship with someone for so long, then it's going to be a huge problem. It is going to be unsettling. It doesn't give them the stability that they need to feel. It makes them feel crazy. Women are biologically wired to get married. They cannot relax without that type of commitment. They need it. It creates stability. So without it, they're not going to be happy with you. And I think it's fair to say, and maybe things are getting better now, but for a long period of time, women were trained not to utter the word marriage to a guy lest he leave her. And for a fearful avoidant, that is extremely scary, that you can't talk about something that is important to you, that matters to you, that speaks volumes. It's something that you need, and you're not allowed to discuss it. You're not allowed to bring it up. That's totally unfair. So I'm speaking for all the women assume that they want to be married. Just make that assumption. Assume that they're not going to be happy without it. So, and I know relationships are more complicated than just, hey, let's get married. But if you are in love with her, you will make that sacrifice and that commitment. And without it, she's not going to be happy. So put in the comments, how long should a woman wait before the man she's in love with and who claims to be in love with her, before they get married? I've known people who have been in relationships for 12 years and the guy won't propose, he won't marry her. And that's just ridiculous. Fearful, avoidant females, at least, need that closure. They need to know that you are deeply and madly in love with them, so much so that you are going to give them this incredibly beautiful gift. And their souls will not be quieted without it. So if you're in this situation, I think you need to figure out how to leave. Because your anxious side is going to be overactivated, and that's not fair to you. Or you're going to tap into your avoidant side and you're going to need to bounce. If you are a man and you're fearful avoidant and you are playing this game with a woman because you cannot merge, or you have not merged your avoidance with your fearful side, then you got to go and seek some counseling, because marriage, the Bible backs up marriage. It was created by God. It is a positive, healthy, happy thing. It is part of the earth. God created marriage. He created intimacy inside of marriage only. So you want to make sure you're doing things in the right order. And it is not a bad thing. It was created for people to enjoy. So I think you have to kind of work on why you're attributing negative traits or negativity to something that is a blessing. You're looking for perfection. There is no such perfection. In marriage, you grow, you become better people, you challenge each other, you learn to become selfless and giving to the other person. Yes, it is a sacrifice, but it's a beautiful sacrifice, and I'd say it's worth it. And if you're afraid of it, you got to start doing the work to figure out very quickly why. Because more than likely it's tied to an irrational belief. So let's dive a little bit deeper into, is it okay to tell a man that you want to get married? And more than likely, if they're fearful avoidant, there's a possibility that they may say, I'm not ready yet. So how hard do you go into, but this is what I want? I think you have the right to say, this is what I want. I think as women, we've been conditioned to not say what we want. And especially if you're fearful avoidant, you're already afraid of being abandoned. But if you don't say what you want, then you possibly won't ever get what you want. And you're going to always be frustrated. What's the difference between your happiness and someone else's? You deserve to feel happiness and get the thing that you want. Whether it's you want to have children, if you want to have children, you need to find the courage to say that, even if it's not something that he wants, because he is banking on you staying quiet. You have the right to say, this is what I need and this is what I want. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to be married to someone that you are in a romantic relationship with. So exploring the topic of attachment styles and relationships can be quite interesting, especially when we consider the dynamics involved with fearful and avoidant attachment styles. Imagine you're at a carnival, surrounded by colorful lights and laughter. You meet someone who makes you feel elated, but as you navigate the funhouse of emotions, you realize you have different approaches to intimacy and commitment. Let's explore your fearful side. If you have a fearful attachment style, you might feel a mix of excitement and anxiety about discussing marriage. You crave connection but fear vulnerability. When the topic of marriage arises, you might hesitate, worried about being rejected or hurt. It's like standing at the edge of a roller coaster, exhilarated yet terrified. On the other hand, if your partner has an avoidant attachment style within them, they may struggle with closeness and commitment. They could view discussing marriage as a threat to their independence, much like avoiding the funhouse mirrors because they don't want to see distorted reflections of themselves. So, is it okay to discuss marriage? Now, let's go back to that main question. Is it okay to tell a man that you want to get married at a certain point in the relationship? Absolutely. Communication is key in any relationship. So, here are some playful yet practical tips for navigating this conversation. Number one, choose the right setting. Instead of a serious sit down, why not bring it up during a fun activity? Maybe while sharing cotton candy or riding the Ferris wheel, where the mood is light. Two, express your feelings. Frame it as sharing your dreams rather than giving an ultimatum. I've always imagined a future where I share my life with someone special. How do you feel about that? Three, be open to his response. Just like you can't control the outcome of a carnival game, you can't predict his response. Be ready to listen whether he's excited, unsure, or needs time to think. Four, check for compatibility. If he seems hesitant, it's a good opportunity to explore each other's perspectives on commitment. This could deepen your connection or provide clarity on your compatibility. Five, keep it fun. Remember, relationships are a journey. Enjoy the ride, even if the path gets a little bumpy. In conclusion, discussing marriage can be a thrilling part of your relationship adventure. Just approach it with clarity, openness, and a sprinkle of fun. The likelihood of him saying, "I'm not ready," can depend on several factors, including number one, his attachment style. If he has an avoidant attachment style, he may be more likely to express hesitance about commitment, as they often prioritize independence and may fear losing their freedom. Two, the relationship stage. The length of time you've been together and the depth of your connection can influence his readiness. If you're still in the early stages, he might feel it's too soon to discuss marriage. Three, his personal values. Some people have different timelines or views on marriage based on their upbringing, experiences, or personal beliefs. Understanding his background can provide insight into his perspective. Four, communication dynamics. If your relationship has open and honest communication, he may feel more comfortable sharing his true feelings, even if they include reluctance. Five, life circumstances. External factors such as career pressures, financial situations, or personal goals can also impact his readiness. He might feel that he needs to achieve certain milestones before considering marriage. Ultimately, while there is a possibility he may say no, he's not ready, it's essential to create a safe space for discussion. Encouraging open dialogue can help both of you understand each other's feelings and perspectives better. Regardless of his response, it can lead to a deeper understanding of your relationship and where it's headed. So, what are your thoughts on this topic? And make sure you subscribe so that we can continue hanging out together. Tell me what you want me to talk about as we go on this journey together, because I definitely don't want to break up with you guys. I want us to stick together in this, and I love hearing your feedback. Now, make sure he's not a narcissist or that she's not a narcissist, because those folks can make for a miserable marriage. So check out my book, The Workplace Narcissist, about a very high functioning narcissist who's very charming and glib. And if you need to tweak your love life, I've written a book just for you called Flip the Script on Love, and it's going to help you get to the place of love that you want and that you've been wishing for. And I wrote a book about the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types if you are into that. And if you're not, you might find it very interesting. So The links will be in the description box. They're by Tamara Hunter Zyon, all on Amazon. And I am so excited, and I want to appreciate all of you for taking the time to watch my video. Let me know your feedback in the comments, like what topics you want me to discuss. And I hope I see you on the next video. So subscribe. Bye.